Hey A4J viewers, this is Jill doing our second video blog post. We had a question that came in via email in regards to relationships, specifically dating, and we wanted to address that question on our video blog post today. So the question reads, it's been a long time since I've been on a date. I think I've forgotten how to date, like how to even talk to a man. Where are places to meet them? I just do church and work. Please help. So we're going to respond to that question. And the first thing we're going to say come out the gate is when we go out to meet a guy, or really just anyone, whether it's a guy, girlfriends, when we meet new people, the thing we want to do is be comfortable in our own skin. We want to show up as our best self, and that queen inside of us, we want to be birthed and be present with a lot of positive energy. So before we even consider the dating, we need to do a sanity check, if you will. We have to check out how we are in three areas specifically: our emotional health, our mental health, and our spiritual health. When I say emotional health, you're going to think about what's been your situation with relationships. If you had a recent breakup or something like this, you probably need some time to get over that, to go through the forgiveness portion of that. Usually it's 9 to 12 months, but it could be much longer depending on how devastating the breakup was or what all went into that situation. Other things that can affect emotional health is perhaps if you've been through certain rejection or abandonment as a child with parents and things like that, you may need to do some type of therapy or to overcome that. We want to make sure that you're healthy emotionally before trying to start a new relationship or even going out to dating. Then you have to do a check mentally. How is your work-life balance? How is your stress level? You know, if you're unorganized or you seem like you're stressed or not getting things done, you may have to realign your schedules and priorities, and maybe even give up a couple of things that's stretching you out further than you want to go, and to allow you to have time to do things you want to do. Because if you feel overwhelmed, if you start to date, those feelings will spill out into the relationship and it will become toxic. And it's very off-putting to a guy if you're portraying those things. And it's unhealthy for yourself. The third area that we want you to check out is your spiritual walk. Are you forming an intimate relationship with God? Are you praying daily? Are you reading your scripture? Are you connected to a church? Are you connected to a ministry? These is what's going to help you to have that solid foundation, because God is our source, and that's where we found that wholeness. We don't want to be looking for that in a dating relationship. So do that self-assessment, and then you kind of get an idea of where you are. Also, pay attention to your conversations that you're having with coworkers, after work, with your friends and family. What does that look like? What does that sound like? Is it negative, focusing on your problems, things that's not going right in your life, how stressed out you are, things of that sort? Or is it more positive, focusing on, traveling, plans, family, fun aspects of life, thinking about your goals, careers, aspirations? Do assessment. Maybe even at the end of the day, evaluate, what did I talk about? What I've been saying? You want to be conscientious of what your conversation looks like, because whatever you're saying out to the world is what you're saying out to yourself, and that's whatever energy you're portraying, and that's what you're going to attract. So definitely have to check those out. Now, once you get to a place that you checked out those three areas of your health, and then you also at a place where you have that positive energy and at a good self-centered place, then we could go out and start looking at the whole dating elements. There are 5 areas where I would say that you can perhaps meet someone, or someone may meet you there. And you mentioned church. That is one place. We have to be very careful about meeting people at church. A lot of times we believe because someone's at church, oh, he's a God-fearing man, thus and forth. Doesn't mean that at all. Just because you meet somebody at church, it could be the same person who was at the club or wherever the night before. So don't get too high strung on that. Just take it for what it is. If you have exchange, go ahead and start interviewing this person to see if they're a good fit for you, just as you met them anywhere else. Also, the workplace is someplace where you potentially meet somebody, whether it's at training or some type of function that your job is hosting. You perhaps may meet someone. You have to be careful about that, because certain change, if it's a certain chain of command, it could be a conflict of interest within your job and that person's career. So you have to also make sure you understand the human resource limitations behind those decisions. In the community, whether it's at the gas station, grocery store, in the neighborhood, If your child is involved in extracurricular activities, that may be a place that you may encounter with somebody. Now, if you're in a bad area or live in a bad neighborhood, you may not want to meet anybody in the area because a lot of times they are a product of that environment. So you have to be conscious about that. So if you're in a bad neighborhood, if you live in an area that's not the most desirable place, or where there is, certain crimes and things like that, you may want to try to go into different communities and interact with different people, because that's what if you're in that area, that's likely who you're going to be encountering on a daily basis, and you don't want to get connected with the wrong person. Also, just with your friends and family. A lot of times we can meet people through a mutual friend or family at different family functions, whether it's someone's birthday or other celebrations. You may meet someone, you just never know. And lastly, which I also will say you definitely have to be very conscientious in this area, is online dating. There's a lot of predators online, and people portray to be something they're not, with falsifying information with pictures. You have to be very careful and be very thorough. Ask a lot of questions to get an idea of what they want. And not only that, when they answer those questions, you have to also find out if that's what they also are portraying with their behavior. When you go out on a date, regardless of where you meet these people, definitely recommend you meet them in the daytime. Go for coffee, maybe meet for ice cream, or perhaps just go for a lunch. You want to drive your own car, let them drive their own car, let them go their separate ways, you go your separate ways. You don't want to do house dates, really never. It gets into a bad situation. So if you need questions to ask, because I'm encouraging you to ask a lot of questions, you can check out our last blog, Is He Husband Material, where we go into a little bit more about that and give you some questions that you can ask to help equip you as you get prepared for your dating experience. So we wish you much luck. Remember that God is your source and He's all that you need. All this other stuff with dating and relationship is just like ice cream on the cake. So we love you so much. Let us know how it goes. Until next time, be blessed.